Pros and cons of the Houston suburbs. Hello and welcome. I am Danielle, a realtor in the Katy and Cypress area, and I help you either build or find your dream home before relocating here. If you are ready to make the big move, you can email me. I would love to assist you. And if not, you can also follow over on Instagram, where I post daily information about living in the Houston suburbs. Now, when I say Houston suburbs, I'm talking about the little cities that are connected to Houston, but not actually part of Houston. And we have over 65 of these suburban areas to choose from. I have done over 50 videos now on living in the Houston suburbs, and most of them have been fairly positive. However, I know that the Houston suburbs are not for everyone, and there are a lot of things that people are curious about before they make the big move here. So some of these categories that I'm going to go over are neither negative or positive, and I'm not trying to ruffle anybody's feathers. For example, politics. And I'm not trying to start a political debate here, but I do get asked quite often what a political stance is in various suburbs around Houston. And the answer is that it is diverse. Houston as a whole is almost split down the middle. However, it does lean slightly more left according to the last presidential election statistics, and this also is true for the suburbs. Of course, there are some suburbs that lean more red, and there are some suburbs that lean more blue, and I promise you, no matter where you live in Houston, every neighborhood Facebook group will have a few select people from both camps that will make their position clear. If you are interested in this particular topic is very important to you, I love the website bestplaces.net, where you can put in a particular zip code or city and read all the political data and information pertaining to that certain area. Overall, since we have a pretty good mix of all political views, I give this a pro. Houston is huge. We have a saying here, it takes an hour to get to Houston from Houston. And if you are living in the Houston suburbs, especially the newer the community or the newer the house, more than likely the longer your commute is going to be. On average, from a lot of the suburbs here, you're looking at least at a 30 to 45 minute commute to downtown, maybe even further if the suburb is further out. Not a big deal if you work remotely or within the area you live. After all, most of the suburban areas within Houston are cities themselves, so anything you would need on a daily basis, from shopping to major hospitals, will be very close by. And the same goes for traffic. We are a major city with major city traffic problems, and some of this is also true in a lot of the suburbs we have. If I had to point fingers, I would say the Woodlands and Katy are the worst for traffic to get in and out of those areas. Overall, negative. Only if you have to commute regularly. Despite home prices continuing to rise in Houston and nationally, the Houston suburbs is still a pretty affordable option, and we have a lot of variety when it comes to housing. We have everything from townhomes all the way to large equine estates. We are comparable in some areas to a house in the city. However, a house in the suburbs, you're going to get a lot more land and a lot more square footage for the same price, and that is the added value to living in the suburbs. Overall, I would say there's more positive to the housing than there is negative. Which brings me to my next point. We have pretty high property tax here in Houston, and it is typically worse in the suburbs, especially if you are looking at a newer home or a large community development. Although we do have high property taxes, Texas does not have state income taxes, so it is kind of a trade-off. Another thing you'll see quite often out here are HOAs, and they are higher than the national average. However, if you've seen some of these communities, some of the amenities are like little mini resorts, so it's kind of worth it. And if you are comparing the HOAs to, say, a condo in downtown Houston, our little suburban HOAs are not going to look so bad. We have over 60 school districts within the Houston metro area, so picking a school district that is right for you and your family is no easy task. The benefit of having over 60 school districts is that you have a lot of options for schools in the suburbs, and a lot of these districts are A-rated in terms of academics, athletics, and diversity. An important question a lot of potential new Houstonians want to know is if the Houston suburbs are diverse. And the answer is yes. Houston was recently rated as the most diverse city in America, and these statistics do spill over into the suburbs and surrounding counties. If you are interested to learn more about diversity, particularly in the Houston suburbs, I will link a few articles down below that will go into much more detail about this. Another negative to living in the suburbs is that you are kind of far away from downtown and some of the cool things that Houston has to offer, and the walkability to these said things are not as good in the suburbs as they are in the city. The good news is a lot of our suburbs are getting trendier by the day, and a lot of them will have everything from world-class shopping to some of the best breweries and barbecue in Texas. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.